So here we go, the rubber match between Slayers Arthur and the STC on GSL's Antigua Shipyard. I really love this map. I think it provides a lot of different opportunities for both players. But here we go, spawning on the easternmost spawning position of Antigua Shipyard, we have our yellow Protoss player, and his name is Slayers Arthur. Spawning on the westmost spawning position, we have our red Terran, who's tied 1-1 with his opponent, the STC. The STC has actually been doing a really, really good job of holding. I think his biggest problem last game was that bunkers didn't go down early enough, and he actually allowed his opponent to get vision onto that high ground to warp in. That's kind of where everything changed. Had he been able to keep his opponent on his ramp, he would have had that high ground advantage. He would have had more of a defender's advantage, and hopefully he wouldn't have supply blocked himself. I mean, once you see those stalkers in your main, or rather up on your natural, you're in a position where you're kind of panicky, and that's pretty much the worst thing that can happen to you. You know, you never want to go into panic mode in a StarCraft match. It just makes things seriously a problem. Alright, so does Slayers Arthur go for this this build that he has done twice in a row to his opponent, winning once and losing once? If he does, is it worth the risk? Meanwhile, we go to the STC. We see that he isn't going at command center first like he thought he would do last round. It looks like he's going to go for that racks down first. We'll see if he decides to one racks fast expand. It doesn't look like he's going to be doing it. There we go. We have one gas going down. He'll be teching up fairly soon. We see one gas going down for Slayers Arthur, which is right on time, just as you'd expect, so nothing terrible coming out from him yet. Doesn't look like there's going to be anything hugely cheesy, and we're going to see where this probe goes. Throw down that pylon. This is a really nice pylon position, as you would imagine. What it allows him to do is put a building inside of the smoke instead of just putting a pylon in there, and it allows him to warp down onto the low ground if his opponent's trying to contain him in any way. You'll see a lot of Terran players try to contain their opponent on 2 base by putting some siege tanks out here. If you see siege tanks, you don't often see that in TVP, but it's an option. Or even just like Marines, you know, Marines and Marauders. Any sort of contain that sticks out here, this pylon helps. With getting rid of that, because you don't only have to attack from one angle. It also helps with that drop play, which is so prominent pretty much in TVP. Dealing with drops is so hard as a Protoss player because you're just so immobile. I mean, if a drop hits right as you warp in somewhere else, you are pretty much screwed if your army units are across the map somewhere. So we have one gas coming out. It looks like we have a tech lab going down on that barracks, a factory coming out as well. Where are we going to see our opponent go? Oh, look, I wasn't even paying attention. This factory is on the other side of the map, a tech lab going down very far away. What is this factory even for? The question is, does he go for a starport immediately after this and put it at the front of his base, or does he continue on his path like this? Does he want to do some Hellion harassment? He can throw a tech lab and get some tanks out if he chooses. This has a lot of different options that he can actually go. Slayers Arthur has no idea about it. He hasn't really scouted in that direction. We see a Marine coming out, and we see another Marine actually getting a flank on this SCV. With good micro, he should be able to kill this thing, and that's going to mean 0 scouting information for the STC. The factory has finished up. This tech lab is on the way. Is he going to go for a big Hellion Marauder push? Because that'd be pretty interesting. We see a Twilight Council coming out from Slayers Arthur. Let's say he does go for this Hellion Marauder push. Hellions are going to come out to deal some damage towards whatever units are out front. Zealots will never be able to catch up to it. But if Slayers Arthur decides to just make some stalkers to deal with it, those Marauders are going to follow up in a matter of seconds and be able to pretty much take out anything. Those Marauders, especially with concussive, are going to be able to slow those stalkers down, so they can't really do nearly as much damage to these Hellions as he would like. So we're going to haul this Hellion out here. Let's check out how many Marauders. We have 2 Marauders with concussive shell and two Marines. This early pressure has the potential to be very effective, actually landing his factory on the low ground to get those Hellions out faster. One Hellion pushing up, checking, he sees that there's nothing out here, and there's Blink on the field. Now Blink changes everything if it can get out, because concussive shell doesn't mean nearly as much. Looks like Slayers Arthur has understanding what's going on, knows that there's going to be some pressure. Hellion's moving up. There are 2 SCVs here for repairs. Beautiful force field going down, getting that sentry out just in time. The problem is he might not be able to get more sentries out as he needs them. His gas is really limited at this point. He does have that second have that second sentry, a bunker going down for those Marauders, which means Stalkers aren't going to be able to get out to do any damage. And these scans on the high ground will yield enough information for all these units to attack onto the high ground. And actually, if he did that, he should be able to take out a fair amount of these units with good spreading. Slayer's Arthur would need to basically retreat from this ramp, which would put the STC in a position where he can get up onto the ramp if he'd like to. But what I love about what he's doing is that behind this pressure, he's actually getting a command center. So even if this pressure failed, he's really just keeping his opponent from making probes. He's keeping his opponent on edge so that when he gets his command center, he'll actually come out ahead of the game. So very, very cool move from the STC. Slayer's Arthur responding with a Warp Prism, which is not something you see every day. Of course, White Rod did really try to create these particular tactics that are going to be coming out. But Slayer's Arthur is in such a good position to do this. I mean, he's going to be able to move around the map very, very quickly with these Stalkers. We should be seeing a blink down in a matter of seconds. Blink, Slayer's Arthur, blink! Alright. Make me a liar, why don't you? I'm not even that worried about it. Not even that worried about it. There we go. Alright, so these Stalkers are going to be able to move around the map. He's going to be able to get warp-ins from this here Warp Prism. I'll see exactly where it's trying to go. Nothing queued up. Which means Stalkers can blink on into the base, sentries can be dropped, and once those sentries are actually dropped down, they can force field off so that these blink Stalkers can get in over here. Sentries from the back means that he can force field off these. So now there's there's actually two different spots that he's attacking from within his own opponent's base. Here we go. Warp Prism moving on up. He shouldn't have moved it in from that angle. He's revealing it too soon. I really would have loved to see him. Oh, he's going for that Tech Lab. He's going to get the Tech Lab before Stim finishes. It's going to be so close. He does. In fact, Stim goes down. The STC has a huge window to actually take a ton of damage. Slayer's Arthur, that may have been exactly what Slayer's Arthur needed to actually get out of this. He's using this Warp Prism as that forward pylon. More Stalkers coming in. With that Warp Prism, he can get the high ground vision that he needs to blink on into his opponent's base. Taking out one of the production facilities is going to be absolutely horrible. He's actually walled off at his own main because there were Hellions back there. So Slayer's Arthur in a position to be very, very comfortable. He goes ahead, he sees that high ground, he doesn't want to blink forward, he doesn't want to blink onto any too many Marauders, but he's in a position, if he blinks forward right now, he would actually take this. There was nothing over here. Even these guys are on 0-0. His opponent made a command center. Just do it. Just do it. Just get up there. Or just, I guess, go from the low ground too. So he's going to continue firing up at that command center, which is going to lift up. There are a couple of SCVs to repair it, but still, he's giving his opponent some time. There's the offensive blink that we've all been waiting for. The SCV is being pulled off of the line to try to do some damage, and with any good blink micro, he's going to be in such a lovely position. He can actually take out these medevacs without any trouble. Zealots are popping in as well, just to tank as much damage as possible, and they're going to be in a really good position to do that. Of course, Stim is now on the way. +1 weapons is about to finish up, but this is such a huge army right here. He really should be trying to. He does get that command center. He really should be focusing on different units. He's not really doing everything that he can. In fact, re-killing that Stim. Even more Stalkers coming in. I would like to see a few more Zealots in this particular mix. I don't actually like that he continued to work with those Stalkers. Zealots can kind of move forward and tank some damage, while the Stalkers pick off more SCVs. But Stalkers coming forward, that's going to be it for the STC. I'm expecting a GG in a matter of seconds. These SCVs pretty much all completely dead. 25 supply to 57. There's nothing left in the STC's base. So there it is, the GG called out. Arthur goes ahead. We'll be moving on to our grand finals. The question really is, who is he going to play at this point? We're actually going to move into the semifinal match, which is, of course, another best of 3. My name is Unctious SC. Please stick around. I need to go get some more water because